From the land of lakes, this is 10,000 Takes, brought to you by Minnesota Score Radio. Wally and Eric back for yet another week as we slice and dice the always busy, always topical, super saturated Twin Cities sports scene. And Wally, 10K Takes Television is on the air again. Final show of July 2022. Wow, where's time gone?
It's flown by, and this week we're back in studio, not on location like we were last week out at the 3M. Spent a lot of time out there this past week.
Yeah, we did. We were at the TPC in Blaine. 3M Open, I thought, was a very well-run event.
Yeah.
And a lot of great takeaways. We'll get into that throughout the course of the show. And how about Tony Finau? Triumphant Tony Finau. He was rock solid, consistent. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, wins his third PGA title, pockets $1.375 million, slightly more than you get for doing this show.
Oh, boy.
And then you have on the flip side, Scott Piercy, cratered.
Oh,
I mean, wow, what happened?
He just disappeared. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I think, pressure probably had something to do with it, maybe fatigue. But all I know is that I was out there Sunday, as you were, and we were not on the course at the time. We were off watching things on the monitor, and the leaderboard pops up. Piercy was at 18 under, and your guy Tony Finau was at 17 under. I said, well, he still has a one-shot lead here. And I turn away and I look back, and he's 3 shots behind.
In a Minnesota minute.
He went from 18 under to 14 under. I said, what in the world happened? And he took a 7 on one of those holes and in the water and in and out of the bunkers. And my goodness, it was a disaster. And he wasn't able to recover. I think he had bogeys on 4 out of 5 holes down the stretch.
He never was able to dig himself out of that hole. If you go to our @10takes site in the Twitterverse for 10,000 Takes, we have a video clip of Scott Piercy on the 18th. And off in the distance is Tony Finau putting in to wrap up the title. And Piercy, you could just tell by the body language, like, wow, I can't believe I had this Minnesota meltdown. But he did. And the difference, he finished tied for 4th.
Right.
The difference between winning and getting the $1.35 million like Finau got and finishing tied for 4th, he gets $315K. Now that's a good haul. I'd take that. That'd be good for a year, right?
A cool million less than he would have had he won the tournament.
$1 million flying around that course somewhere.
And he literally led from wire to wire until those last 4 holes. I mean, when I got there on Thursday for the first round, I got there a little bit after noon. He had already finished his round, and he was 6 under. And then he was another 6 under on Friday, so he's 12 under. And then he was another 6 under on Saturday, so he's 18 under. And then Sunday, through 4 holes, he added another 2 shots. I said, this guy is just this is a buzzkill. I mean, he is just going to run right through this tournament and win it from wire to wire. And it looked really good until that back 9, boy, it really got him.
The only bright spot for Scott Piercy is he's in the right state for being able to deal with devastation in a sports, perspective. We can send him off to Hazelden, and he can go into that special Minnesota Vikings room that's padded in purple padding, right? and learn about Super Bowl losses and NFC Championship losses,
Lord.
and collapses by Minnesota United, and by the Minnesota Aurora, and by the Minnesota Vixen, and by the Minnesota Gophers, and by the Minnesota Timberwolves, and by the Minnesota Wild. Piercy, you're in the right state to deal with collapsing.
Yeah, I think the only guy who isn't in that room is Tom Kelly led Minnesota Twins in 87 and 91. Other than that, they're all in there, including the last 18 Minnesota Twins games, which brings me to my next point. Your Minnesota Twins come out of the break. They don't play a Friday game, which is really weird, just the way the schedule shook out. I mean, the Tigers and Twins are the only 2 teams not playing on Friday night. Everybody plays every Friday night in baseball, but the Twins didn't. They used that extra day of rest to come out and clobber the Tigers, and Michael Pinata, I call him. He got battered around again.
Like a pinata.
Yeah, Cleveland hit him up badly the weekend before, and for some reason the Tigers ran him out there again on Saturday against the Twins. And then Sunday the Twins did it again. They beat up the lowly Tigers. The Tigers, man, they are a train wreck right now. I would not be surprised to see them cut or unload some of these guys. I mean, they went out and got Javi Baez. Does anybody want the guy? I mean, he's only hitting about 220
and they were a team that almost, I think, made a run at Carlos Correa. Instead, they went after Javi Baez, and it has not worked out in pure Michigan, as they say on the license plates over there in the Great Lakes State. Yeah, I thought they'd be better. I thought A.J. Hinch, who was the Houston manager when the Astros won the World Series, banging on those trash can lids, but Detroit has been a major disappointment. You're right. They may unload. They've got Miguel Cabrera. Is this it for Miguel? I mean, I haven't heard an announcement.
No, I think he says he wants to play another year. I mean, we know this is it for Albert Pujols in St. Louis, but I think Miggy wants to play another year.
I know the Tigers love him, and he's an icon in Michigan, but is that a guy who maybe finishes up elsewhere like a Pujols? Now, Pujols, it was different. It was a trade mid-career, right, to the Angels and then the Dodgers. Now back with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, I think he stays with the Tigers, and I believe he has one more year on his contract. So I think he'll finish up with the Tigers. But your Twins are in Milwaukee now. They're here. They're there for Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon games. Before they come back home, and I believe the Blue Jays are coming to town, aren't they?
Actually, they go to San Diego.
Oh, they go to San Diego
before they come home. Yeah, they'll face Taylor Rogers and those Padres this weekend at Petco.
That's right. The Twins aren't home until the 1st of August. That's right. You're right.
Yeah, so that I-94 series, it would be a lot better if it was on the weekend. We've talked about that before, but easy proximity if you want to go over to Milwaukee, American Family Field, and see the Twins and Brewers. It's a lot of fun. Hey, they tailgate at Brewer games.
I know.
I mean, it's a little different than Minnesota, so
yeah, my son
bring
was
your
over
own
there.
barbecue.
My son Tony was over there on Saturday to watch the Brewers and the Rockies. So, and he said that there was tailgating before the game. He doesn't even know what you don't even know what that is if you're that age, right?
Exactly. Not in Minnesota.
No, not in
It's a
Minnesota.
lost art, unfortunately. Tailgating invented in Minnesota, and then this state has washed its hands of tailgating.
All right, question for you as we go down the stretch here for the Twins. Do they make a move before the deadline? I think that winning these couple of games against Detroit, and if they can kind of keep it going, just don't go into a backslide, I think that has to prime the pump for them getting out and getting a pitcher or two. Certainly a reliever, and it would help to get another starter as well, but go out and get somebody.
Well, I think, you have to show your fan base that you're all in, that you're trying to win now, that it's not about 2023 or beyond. It's about 2022. You have an opportunity. At the minimum, you're going to be in the race in the AL Central. Good chance to win it.
Yeah.
So upgrade your roster, fortify the troops, as they say, and then go into October, if you make it, and try to go on a run and end this 18-game postseason losing streak that is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. We're going to talk some more baseball coming up.
We will. Bob Nightingale, USA Today's outstanding MLB columnist in the On Deck Circle. We are 10K Takes, your Tony Finau ticket.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect. Maya? Oh, I love your earrings. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision. It's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
$10,000 takes, Wally and Eric. And Eric, it was a busy time in New York, the state of New York, this past weekend, of course. Hall of Fame ceremonies. We had Jim Cott, Tony Oliva, both former Twins, and of course David Ortiz all go into the Hall of Fame. And right now, joining us from New York City, he made the drive from Cooperstown to New York City, is Bob Nightingale from USA Today. Bob, I know the festivities are something that baseball fans and fans of these players love. What were your impressions, particularly of our guys, the two Twins and the former Twin David Ortiz?
Yeah, it was a great weekend for Cooperstown. They haven't had a full ceremony since 2019 with COVID, limited, last year. So, yeah, they had 35,000. Didn't look that many. But, yeah, everybody enjoyed themselves. I mean, David Ortiz was a highlight. A lot of you saw a lot of Dominican Republic flags, wearing Ortiz jerseys, Red Sox jerseys, and the Twins contingent. They had a lot of people from Minnesota and and Twins fans to listen to Jim Codd and Tony Oliva. I thought Codd's speech was sensational. And Tony's was very heartfelt.
Bob, paint the picture. Cooperstown, this bucolic setting in upstate New York, and for those who haven't been there, it really is a treat. It's a postcard, a slice of Americana. What's it like on Hall of Fame induction weekend?
Yeah, this wasn't too crazy. I think people are still a little fearful of COVID and things like that. Not used to being out in public places. So I know they announced a crowd about 35. It didn't seem that large. I think it was much bigger for Pedro Martinez, than David Ortiz. But everywhere you went, you saw Dominican flags, Red Sox jerseys and hats. And a lot of people from Minnesota too. But David Ortiz kind of dominated the weekend. But yeah, it's fun walking around the shops and everything else, little restaurants. And these people in Cooperstown had taken a financial bath the last few years with a no Hall of Fame ceremony or very limited ceremony.
All right, before we get off the Hall of Fame questions, I saw a poll, or maybe it wasn't a poll, it was like an informational thing looking into next potential inductees. And right towards the top of the list, and I was kind of surprised by this, was Joe Mauer. Do you believe that he will get in someday?
He's still 2 classes away, right? He's not eligible this year. Yeah.
Yes.
I think he will, just with the analytic thinking and things like that, the on-base percentage. But it may take a while because he just wasn't catching long enough. Fabulous when he caught, at the Metrodome and everything else. Then he was only hitting 5 or 6 home runs a year as a first baseman. So I think he gets in, but not first ballot.
Bob, the buzz around MLB right now is the future of Juan Soto. He turned down $440 million from the Nationals. That's basically, here's the keys to the Washington Mint, and he said no. Now they're playing the Dodgers this week in D.C. Any chance that Soto leaves on the Dodgers jet, or is he going to St. Louis or San Diego? Where's Juan Soto going?
I still think there's a better chance of him staying put for now with Washington, just because whoever gets him has got to give up some major league ball players besides prospects. So it's still tough to scramble, and for the Nationals to evaluate everything else, the farm systems. So I think it's 50-50 whether he's traded or not. If he's traded, I think the 2 teams that are most aggressive are San Diego Padres and Seattle Mariners. We'll see. A team like the Dodgers don't really need him, and they could use a big-time starter like Luis Castillo, the Reds. But it's not like they need Soto. I mean, they already got a powerful lineup as it is.
Where do you see the Twins in the mix for not Soto, but making a move at all? They've been known to sit on their hands before. Obviously, they didn't sit on their hands at the beginning of the season, and I've been contending all along, Bob, and give me your opinion on this, that if you're going to spend $35 million on Carlos Correa this year, you darn well better make a move here to try and win something, because why spend all that money if you're not making that move?
No, I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, he's going to walk away at the end of the season. They're not going to sign him to a $300 million contract, you wouldn't think. So, yeah, you might as well, put those prospects and go get a Luis Castillo. Go get a Tyler Mahle from the Reds, or trade for Frankie Montas of Oakland. So, yeah, I think they badly need a starter. Some bullpen help, too. We'll see what happens. But plus, they've surprised everybody so much the first half. You might as well keep going for it.
So you're in New York City. What's the vibe there? I'm sure a lot of people are saying, all right, Yankees, Mets, Subway Series. There's certainly a good chance of that, isn't there?
Well, that's what they're hoping for. But, the Yankees have to get past Houston. I mean, Houston, they played 7 games this year. Houston went 5-2. The Yankees never went to bat once with the lead. They had 2 walk-off wins, never led at any time. So Houston has got their number. And the Mets, looking at the rearview mirror, there's Atlanta right there, just a game and a half back. They're still a very good team, but so is Atlanta. So, yeah, it should be interesting September stretch or October playoffs. Both teams will be in there. And you're right. I mean, everybody in New York is rooting for that. They got a Subway Series beginning Tuesday. So this could be a little preview.
What we've seen out of Aaron Judge so far, is there any recent comparison to the kind of first half he's had? I know that the first half is a little longer this year than usual, but is what brings to mind a similar first half that what he's done? He hit his 37th on Sunday, so he's on a roll.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you back in the days of Juan Gonzalez for Texas Rangers, hitting like 35, 40 home runs first half with a million, over 100 ribbies, that sort of thing. So, yeah, monster first half, best player on the best team in baseball. To me, he's the MVP of the league so far. They have a lot of stars, but they'll only go as far as he takes them. He means that much to the organization.
All right, and it's hard to disagree with Aaron Judge being an MVP frontrunner. Shohei is unbelievable, probably the best player on earth given the fact he hits and pitches. But what about Yordan Alvarez with Houston? I feel like he goes under the radar, and he's a legitimate MVP candidate too.
He does, probably because he, DHs more than the other guys. You got Jose Ramirez too at Cleveland. If Cleveland wins the division, it's hard to argue, against him that he may deserve it. But yeah, Alvarez is unbelievable. Offensively, Judge probably gets a edge. Just not only the numbers, the fact he's playing center field, kind of out of position to help the team. So I know there'll be a lot of votes for Ohtani. He's on last place team. It's not a best player award; it's the most valuable player award. If it was a best player award, we would have given to Barry Bonds 15 straight years. So Judge is valuable. We're not in that position without Judge.
I'm glad you mentioned Ramirez. As you know, I tend to like Cleveland. But what do you think of this Central Division right now? Cleveland took the first two from Chicago over the weekend, dropped the last two. They find themselves 3 games behind the Twins now, and then Chicago's 4 back. Are we still believers in Chicago? Every time I watch them, though, something else happens, either defensively or pitching, that probably shouldn't be happening. I'm not such a believer anymore. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you go any of those 3 teams. Cleveland's got that great pitching, and I'd like to see them get one more bat to give themselves a run. Their offense was a lot better than expected first half, but you still need some another bat in there. We talked about the Twins. White Sox, I think, need a starter. Lance Lynn has struggled big time. Giolito, I thought he had a chance to win the Cy Young. He hasn't been close to the same. Relying on Dylan Cease and Michael Kopech, who's kind of an innings limit. So I don't rule out the White Sox by any means. They have the most talent of the 3 teams, but they may be the most underachieving team in baseball.
Bob, you were at the All-Star game last week in Los Angeles. What's the national buzz from your peers in the media about the Minnesota Twins? Certainly Byron Buxton had the game-winning RBI, that home run into the left field pavilion at Dodger Stadium. How are the Twins viewed?
Yeah, just kind of like in the past, almost like last year was an aberration. So take away last year, the Twins have been right there the last 3-4 years. So I think that they're viewed as a good team in a bad division. If they make the playoffs, no one, I don't think anybody's expecting that streak to go on, but no one's predicting they'll win the first round or challenge the Yankees or Astros for the World Series either.
All right. I've got about 20 seconds for this last answer. If you had to pick a World Series matchup right now, who would it be?
I'm going to go a repeat of last year. I'll go Astros in Atlanta once again. Wow. I think Atlanta's a better team than a year ago. And Houston's unbelievable, that young pitching. So, it should be fun. I know everybody's talking about Yankees, Dodgers, everything else, but I'll go back with a rematch.
Yeah. Well, it would be interesting. Braves did it last year. So, all right. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate your time. Enjoy New York.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Bob. All right. He is Bob Nightingale from USA Today. He's got all the inside scoop on Major League Baseball. We'll be back with more after this timeout. Imagine a public golf course where beginners feel comfortable in learning and where experienced players can test their skills. Well, you don't have to imagine it. You can live it at the Royal Golf Club in Lake Elmo, an 18-hole championship caliber course designed by golfing legends Arnold Palmer and Annika Sorenstam. With 5 tee boxes, bent grass fairways, and generous landing areas, the Royal Golf Club is perfect for golfers of all experience levels. Golfing and Arnie's Restaurant are open to the public, so make your tee times today at RoyalClubMN.com. The Royal Golf Club, a one-of-a-kind golfing experience.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
"10,000 Takes" are thanks to Bob Nightingale. And Eric, something we mentioned a little bit earlier and we didn't really get into. What's next for the Twins? Okay, beyond possibly making a trade, they've got to make a decision on Miguel Sano. What are they going to do with him? Now, they have until Tuesday, and they play the Brewers on Tuesday, to either put him on the active 26-man roster, or they're going to have to send him through waivers. I mean, that's DFA him. And I'm not sure that they made that decision quite yet, because he's an enigma. I mean, this guy is really good when he's good and really bad when he's bad, and he's been mostly bad this year. And he is typically gets off to a slow start, and he did very much so this year. They've got to decide, are they going to keep him? And if they do, he's really a guy without a position. I mean, he's basically a DH, he can play some first base for you, but they got guys that play first base now.
Well, he is boom or bust. There's no doubt about it. As Bud Grant once said, don't make a decision until you have to. Well, Derek Falvey and Thad Levine and Rocco Baldelli are getting close to that point of having to figure out what you do with Miguel Sano. Look, they've invested a lot in this guy. If you go back, 10 years or so, it was Miguel Sano, Byron Buxton, the future of the Minnesota Twins, these incredibly gifted prospects that were going to lift the Twins out of the doldrums. Similar to what we saw with Justin Morneau and Joe Mauer, 20-plus years ago. So I know the Twins have been patient with him, and they want to see it work here. There have been a lot of ups and downs. He's a roller coaster. I think the danger is, though, if you just flat out release him, there's somebody out there that knows what Miguel Sano is capable of, and they will believe, hey, we bring him into our culture, maybe we teach him a little differently, and he can thrive and blossom, and we don't put a lot of pressure on him. So I think the Twins have to be careful, because I'll throw some names out there. Aaron Hicks, Carlos Gomez, David Ortiz. Rumor has it he got inducted into the Hall of Fame on Sunday.
Yes.
And that's just 3.
Yeah.
There are plenty of other examples. From the basketball standpoint, Andrew Wiggins, who last time I looked up, confetti was falling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he won a world
He won
title.
a title for Golden State. So I still think patience is a good thing. I'd be shocked if they flat out let him go.
Well, we're going to find out very soon what they do with him. And look, if they decide to activate him, that means that Max Kepler goes on the injured list, which is possible because he got hit by pitch the other day, didn't finish the game. Or maybe they send Celestino down and the luxury of a 5th outfielder is out the window. But something's got to give if they're going to activate him. If they don't, and they throw him out on waivers. Now, he could clear waivers. Yeah. Somebody may not want to pay $10 million for a guy that's hitting a buck 30. I mean, he's off to a terrible start.
My hunch is there's a New York Yankees or a Boston Red Sox or a New York Mets or an LA Dodgers type organization where $10 million just doesn't mean anything. That's couch change for these organizations. It shouldn't really for the Twins. The Pohlad Group is, I believe, the richest ownership contingent in MLB. But they like to play that, hey, we're a middle to small market franchise and we can't do this or that. I think with Miguel Sano, if he's out there and somebody will take a chance on him, I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
He's got enough of a resume.
He does, and we've seen him. He hit the ball basically out of Fenway Park last year. Let's not forget that.
Right.
And so this is a guy that has very high ups and very low downs.
I could see Big Poppy calling the Red Sox and saying, bring Miguel to Boston and I'll come over there and be Big Poppy to him. I will mentor him.
Oh, dear. All right, one more subject before we hit the break here. The Minnesota Aurora, the women's soccer team, they played for a championship this weekend, and very Minnesota of them, they lost.
Wow.
2-1 in the finals, and so their season ends with their only 2 matches that they didn't win. The opening match, they tied, and then the championship game, they lost.
That's a bad bookend. And once again, a Minnesota team on the cusp of a title, like the Minnesota Vixen in women's football, losing the women's version of the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago. And then we've had the Minnesota Vikings are 0 for 4 in Super Bowls, 0 for 6 in their last NFC Championship game appearances. I mean, on and on.
The list is long.
Yeah.
We'll be here all day.
The Aurora, they are fitting right in. In fact, the Minnesota Aurora and Scott Piercy are having lunch as we speak.
Boy, that says it all. All right. When we come back, takes of the day. You are watching 10,000 Takes, your Aurora Borealis ticket.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Final segment of this week's show, 10K Takes Television. Wally and Eric with you. Takes of the day. Going to find out if Wally is a happy camper, angry American. Maybe you're a demanding diva. What is it?
Well, as you know, a guy by the name of Juan Soto, all-star crusher for the Washington Nationals, is being shopped around. And, you know, the teams listed, the Padres, the Cardinals, of course, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Mets. These are the teams supposedly that are in the running to get his services. Now, let's mind you, he turned down an offer from the Nationals worth about $450 million. So that having been said, where does he fit in? How about the Minnesota Twins? Hey, we're already paying Carlos Correa $35 million a year. Let's unload. You know what? Max Kepler, he's damaged goods now, apparently. We can ship him out. They're probably going to want Royce Lewis. I guarantee that. Send Royce Lewis packing. Keep Correa. Let's get into the big money here in Minnesota. Bring Juan Soto to Minnesota. Put him out in right field, and away we go, baby. Soto, Buxton, Correa. That's a damaging lineup.
I can see the headline now. Soto to Soda.
Soto to
He's
Soto.
in Minnesota. And by the way, the mood meter says you're a demanding diva.
I certainly am.
You're just asking the Polat family to fork out a check for roughly $500 million.
I'm good at spending other people's money.
You sure are. All right, we'll see if they're listening. My take of the day, I'll circle it back to the 3M Open. A lot of cool snapshots over the last few days.
That one right there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I was on my bike before I went out to the tournament on Sunday, and I'm riding through Brooklyn Park in Champlin. I look in the sky, and I see this jumbo drone. Mm-hmm. There it is, the Goodyear blimp circling over the northwest suburbs, following the Mississippi River, and then bending back to the east over Blaine and the TPC course. You know it's a major event when the Goodyear blimp shows up to your town.
Are you sure that it wasn't following you on your bike ride? I heard you're like the next Greg LeMond.
Yeah. Well, the blimp doesn't move too fast. I think I can pedal faster than the blimp can float. Let's put that on the record.
Okay.
But I thought one of the coolest things about Sunday, you were at the tournament as well.
Yes.
You would look into the sky. There's the blimp. There's the clouds. There's some sun. There's some royal blue sky. It was a perfect backdrop fabulous weather, everybody having fun. Kudos to the 3M Open.
And you could hear the engine of that blimp when it was overhead. It was kind of cool.
I'm not a rocket scientist, or in this case, a blimp
A
scientist.
blimp scientist.
I don't know how it stays in the air. I tell you what, I don't know. On that note, we got to go. Let's FedEx out those thank yous. One to the great crew here at Channel 6, also to Rocky and Bob Nightingale. For Wally, I'm Eric saying so long. This is 10K Takes, your sports ticket.